Howdy friends, welcome back to the House of Tone. My name is Wes Lee. I'm a professional band instrument repair technician. I started a YouTube channel to show what my life is like in the trades. I appreciate you coming by the shop today. Today's going to be a fun video. This is going to be a school horn missing parts, so this is a fabrication video. This is how you make parts for something that doesn't exist. Let's jump right on in. Here we have a 5-rotor tuba, and it has got quite a few problems. The number 5 linkage is gone. The paddle is gone, but at least we have the rod. The rotor does not turn, but the stop arm freely comes off. Number 1 actually moves a little bit. Number 2 does not. Number 3 is missing its linkage, but it actually does turn. And then, well, there's number 4. I mean, not really. It's not really there, but number 4. So what we're going to do, this model is no longer supported. I called the manufacturer, talked to them. They do not have parts, or they had a few parts. They were real nice. They gave me specs on what these linkages should be, the length of them. And then I ordered uniballs, the new screws. I had them just bag me up some of their paddles because the price of nickel is so expensive, but I wanted them all to match. So I said, I don't care what they look like, just send them to me. I'm going to chop them up and make them into something else. And then I got some rod stock, and we're going to cut that to length. We're going to have to mill a flat in this piece here. We'll have to figure out how to get it all connected. And we're going to start with this number 5 rotor assembly. We're going to make all of this. So that's what we're going to do. We have to keep these horns serviced and in condition. So let's start getting this guy apart. All right, we'll get the stop arm off. Drop the rotor. We got a lot of corrosion on it. Okay, let's go ahead and got the hinge rod. Save our spring. Okie doke. These are the paddles that they sent me. And you can see the paddles are basically all the same. The business end down here is different. And if you compare that to what the horn is, see, so you've got, like this one looks like it's probably a number 2 based on how it lines up with that linkage. So that also looks like a number 2. Makes sense? This one looks like it's a number 3. It could drop in. Okay. And this also looks to be a number 3. And then that's a number 4. So they did send me a number 4. It's short for the posts, and that's the only one that they had. So I'm going to make one that's like this, so I will always have a template for what this number 4 is. And there's no number 1. So it's 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, and a number 4. Okay. So then we'll scrap one of these. It looks like this sheared off. It looks like someone tried to just solder it back before. Looks like they've made a little bit of a change in that these have a flat that this goes on to. All of these paddles are about 2¼ in their length. So I think I'll just cut this one off right in here somewhere, and this will be our guy. Our rod is 6¾ in length, but I'm going to add a 1/2 inch because I'm going to want to come up under this paddle. It looks like it's 1 inch into the bend, but remember I'm going to add a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to be 1.5 inches inside. That's going to be where I start my bend. Okay, so this may add a little more confusion here. Our bent rod measured right now at 5¾ I want to add a 1/2 inch on that to give more support under the paddle. Its new length is going to be 6.5 inches. 1.5 inch will be coming in to this bend. So everything will stay in its proper alignment. Rod diameter this is a 0.196 diameter rod. I think I'm going to make that out of 1/4 inch stock. I like to overbuild everything. This is going to be 0.250. So that's 0.875 in our length. Get a gauge and we'll figure out what our drill hole size is. There we go. That'll be a good tight fit. A number 32 drill. 0.116 as our hole size. So I hope this makes sense. If you think through the process and lay it all out, you can actually, then you can see what you're going to do. And for me, that helps to visualize what it's going to be in the end. I can already see how this is going to be put together versus just holding this in my hand. So I hope my chicken scratch makes some sense here. Facing room and oversized room. So first one's going to be at 1 inch. Then our next one is a 6.5. So then we're going to be 6. And we're going to make that a touch over. Okay. Knock that down. Our center drill. Nice and tight. No wiggle. So we're a little bit long. I believe 8.5 was our number. So we're about 6 thousandths over. We'll put a little die cam on it. Mark it with a little bit of this purple die cam. You could also use a Sharpie. Draw on there. Set my calipers for 6 thousandths. Come to the edge. Now I've got it marked. There's a number of ways you could do this, but since I'm already set up on the lathe, this will be the easiest for me. And I'm just going to scooch it back. Boom, 6 thousandths. Let's see how close that is. Boom. Okay, for the next, there's a really poorly milled slot in this. And I don't know how well you can see that, Christy. It's had soldered, like trying to cover up the holes or trying to re-thread it or something. This is a mess. So all I care about is the length of what this is, and I'm going to mill that into what we've got going. So that's just shy of a 1/2 inch, looks like. This is my little Sherline lathe, and I haven't gotten it converted into an upright mill yet, so I'm using it as a horizontal mill. And I don't think I'm going to be able to show this operation while I'm doing it, since we don't have any room in the back. But I'm going to take a flat end mill, and I'm going to mill that squared off slot in this. So on a lathe, the part is turning. On a mill, the part is stationary and the bit is turning. So it's a reverse of the operations. Now, if you don't have a mill, you could do this on a sander, or you could actually just sit there and file this. That's what we used to do in the old days. Anyway, I'm going to get this set up, and I'm going to mill out that slot, or not that slot, but mill off the top. Doing it this way, it almost feels like I'm standing on my head. I don't really enjoy it, but I like the results that I get. So I'll just check back with you once I have this done. There they are. The thing I love about this bender is that it's got all these different radii, of dies, so you can really match up what you want to do. So we'll throw that on the floor. Drop this guy in. I'm going to start making the pull. And then I'm going to scooch this back. So it's actually not bending out here, it's bending here. That's what I'm watching. So I want mine to line up and go off of. So I'm going to come to either side of that. You want to come check it? Dead on it. Can't tell mine from theirs. That's what you want. So working around this mark, I made my mark where I wanted it to be, and then just manipulated until I got it there. That's it. The next thing that you can see is that when they drilled the hole, it's, it's kind of there. It's not really centered or anything. So we know that that's not just a critical measurement. I'm going to try to put it in the center though. The new univalves and screws, these old ones, these are an M2 screw. The new ones, when you order them from Tuba Exchange, these are M2.5s. So that's what we're going to set up, drill, and tap this hole with. We're going to go ahead and finish this and actually go ahead and make our linkage bar before we do the paddle, because we may have to change our geometry back here. We know we've got our rough bend in place. So we're getting everything just kind of roughed into shape a little bit at the time. Now we're going to start sealing the deal on it though. Okay, let's go drill and tap M2.5. That's about it. Centered pretty good. So what I'm doing here, I could tap this by hand, but I'm going to put this, I want this to be square. I'm trying to make this as good as I can. I want it to be square, so I'm using my cutoff tool as a straight edge. I'm also put the tap, I'm going to freewheel it in the chuck. So I can spin this free, and now it's going to want to go straight. There you go, just like that. So if you don't ever know what your straight point is, you can use your lathe and a cutoff tool. There's our uniballs and there's our screws. And we're just going to hand tighten for now. So that's the way it's going to look. Okay, it's coming together. Now, we're going to continue on. We're going to finish making the linkage. We've got the rotor repaired. Now, when I was talking to the guys at Tuba Exchange, they gave me the dimensions of what the linkage rods were. It's going to be 30.25 millimeters. It's going to have 9.5 millimeters on either side of threads for the uniball. Okay, so basically I'm going all the way to the chuck. A live center to help me get squared away and started. And I'm going to turn this all by hand. Once I get it started, it's good to go, but I want it to be squared on there. So that's where we're going to start it at. There are a lot of different ways that you can go about doing this. I'm just masquerading as a machinist today. I'm wearing my Hong Kong Phooey safety glasses, and I wanted to play machinist. So there are real machinists out there, and then there are those of us who just kind of masquerade at it. Just flip over and do the other side. I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, we got to get this hole drilled out because it's got to be that 2.5 as well. So that's the next thing we're going to do. So if our spring is back there, I'm acting as a fulcrum. About right there. I think I will grind away. Maybe like that. Okay, let's get the horn back out, mount it up, see where we need to make our hinge tube joint. Okay, let's get the lever reinstalled. Looks like it may be riding a little high. We may have to put some flex on it. Okay, yep, okay. So, we made it square, and I did notice that if you look at this one, it's actually it's actually done on an angle. And I made mine square. So by making mine square, this rod is riding high. So I've got to bend this down this way. And I know my rod is stronger than what this holder is. So I'm going to make another plan to bend this. So hold on, we're not ready to install quite yet. Got to tweak on it. And that's when you're fabricating parts, you constantly have to tweak on stuff because you just don't know all the ways that they made it. So I'm going to get this pulled down probably 10 degrees or so, and we'll check it again. So you can see I went and bent this down a little bit. So just to kind of sculpt the linkage in there. I believe that's going to work. Now we're going to go again. Put the bar through. Moment of truth. And nope. But I'm going to need to adjust on this some more. It's going to have to come back. Came out nice. Now all I've got to do is everything else, but you learned how to make a linkage. The parts that I used for this were stainless steel, just stainless steel round rod for both the hinge tube and the main rod, uniballs, also known as Heim joints, and a piece of stainless for the linkage rod. So that's wherever you normally source your metals. I get my stuff from McMaster Car, but wherever you get yours, that's what you do. And we bent this with a machete bender, and that's it. Silver solder. Came out very nice. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by the shop today. Hope you learned something about making linkages. I hope the next time that you're faced with a situation where parts aren't available, this doesn't exist anymore, that you go, okay, I know how to do that. I can figure this out. And draw pictures and take measurements, and you can get yourself through it, and you can be a good fabricator. I'm happy with the way that horn is coming out. I've got a lot more work to do on it. I'll see you the next time you stop by the shop. Have a great one. This is Wes Lee, signing out.